Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from ACG Math Tutoring. What I do is I basically take a lot of the GED sample examples, as well as ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, TEAS test, praxis, and all of the above, and just show you how to get through it step by step. So our first example, let me kind of lower this down just a tad, is a wire with the length of 106 inches is cut into two parts. One part has a length of X inches and the other part has a length of Y inches. The value of X is 6 more than 4 times the value of Y. What is the value of X? Is it A, 25, B, 28, C, 56, or D, 86? So if you think you know the answer, you could just go ahead and just put your answer choice in there. Let's see how it goes, because I will go over it step by step so you can actually see what it is. So hello, Lay, how are you right now? I can't even see. Here we go. What is happening? Who is here? And what's going on? All right, so Lay's saying it's 86. I'm doing, Lay, I'm doing. Selena, thank you so much for the follow. Okay, Gloria, you're lost? Well, you just got found. We're going to go through it step by step, so don't worry. I'm going to walk you through it. I know, like, the whole thing with the variables and letters, and yeah, it just throws anybody off. So I got you. Okay, so you're going to say it's like 53. Okay. All right. But you just woke up? Okay. Well, I appreciate you coming on, even though you just woke up. Oh, my goodness. All right. So we're going to take a step. Just kind of take a glance at it. Okay. So if you're not sure what it is, remember, you can always use the question mark just in case you don't understand what it is. Not a problem. I'm going to break it down. Okay, Gregory is saying it's 86. You just read it, I'm lost again. Okay, I got you. Okay, I think it's McCullough is saying 28. All right. Right. DJ, hello DJ, welcome back, is saying 25. All right, which is answer choice A. Okay, so this is giving us a little bit more structure than it normally does. So first off, the whole length of this wire is 106. Okay, so we know something is going to equal 106. Now, we are getting two parts. So we know that one part has a length of X, okay, and the other part has a length of Y. So we know that X plus Y will equal 106. But they're giving us some additional information. They said that the value of X is 6 more than 4 times the value of Y. So that means I'm replacing this X with what is being said here in this expression. So 6 more than 4 times the value of Y. So we are going to have 4 times the value of Y, which is 4Y, more than, which means addition, 6. So now we're going to bring down our plus Y, our equals, and our 106. So what's written out in red, we're going to translate it into an algebraic expression. Anytime they say 6 is more than, so that means the 6 is going to carry the plus sign. Okay, 4 times the value of Y, 4 times the value of Y is the easiest way to just say 4Y. So now let's look at one side of the inequality sign. I'm going to use this for a second. So the equal sign, so we're just going to look at one side. What do we have in common? The 4Y and the 1Y. If you just see a variable by itself like that, it's assumed that there's 1 there because there's physically one y right there. So when we add our y's up, we're going to get 5y. And then we bring down the plus 6. And then we're going to bring down, the equals 106. All right. So now let's focus on that equation. Let me raise it up a little bit. So we're trying to solve this equation for y. Hey, Jacinda. So we need to get this plus 6 out of the way. Right now, the 5 and the y is together. Okay. This plus 6, we always have to do the opposite to get rid of them. So we're going to subtract 6. That's the inverse of addition. So now we have our 5y equals 106 minus 6. Well, that gives us 100. So now what we need to do is divide both sides by 5. So that gives us our y is going to equal 20. Because how many groups of 5s can go into 10? 2 of them, and then we're bringing down our 0. So now, are we done? No. Take a look at the question. Anytime you solve, always take a moment, take a look at the question. Plus, there's no 20s in our choices. So they want to know, what is the value of x? So we could do this one of 2 ways. One way is to use the expression that we got, which was up here, and I'm going to put it off to the side, which we were saying that x is 4 times your y plus 6. We could substitute this 20 for that y. So you got 4 times 20 plus 6. And we know that 4 times 20, that gives me 80. Plus 6 gives me 86. Okay, which does give us our answer choice D. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is, hey, remember what we did in the very beginning? X plus y equals 106. So if we know that 20 is going to be our y, and we know it's supposed to be a total of 106, why not just do 106 minus 20, which gives us our 86. Okay, so you got choices. Okay, we have choices. Okay, awesome. Oh, thanks, Jacinda. Okay, all right. Yep. But these are the things that we need to know and to understand. All right, so for this one, this is going to be a tad technical, but not really. So this one, we have a function, which we have x plus 6, x plus 5, x minus 4. So for the function of f is given, which table of values represents y equals f of x minus 3? Okay, so now I'm going to have to raise it up a little bit. I know everything's in the way, but let's see if I can shrink it down a bit. Oh, I can. Awesome. Okay, so we want to know which of these table of values is going to satisfy this equation. This is telling us what f of x is, but we want to know what's going to satisfy y equals f of x minus 3. Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay, so this is like algebra. In this case, it's like algebra 2-ish. You always skip those questions. You cannot skip those questions. Because if you look at these for GED, these are probably going to be 4-point questions. If you're looking at ASVAB, these are those advanced questions. Okay? Because those GED, those 4-point questions, anything dealing with slope, equation and line, all that, you have to at least get 3 of those correct in order for you to pass your GED. Okay? Those are the big ticket questions, if I may put it. Okay. All right, so I'm here to break it down, Wild One. Gary is saying B, Zach saying B, okay, Artemis is saying B, Coben saying B, Bay is saying D, Princess saying E, there's no E. All right, a little bit more detail. Can I give us a little bit more detail? Okay. All right. All right. Afro God is saying A. Going to D. Hi, Michael. Saying B. Afro God with the A. This is some differential equations. That's not this platform, Zach. Sorry about that. Okay. With W1 and 22, no problem. Perfect time to get it. You're young, you're able to learn. All right, thanks for checking in. Ruth Ann saying B. All right, so let's take a gander. Okay, got an A, and we got a how. Let's see. So first off, this is a visual type question. We're not really doing a whole heck of a lot of math. If you notice all your answer choices, let me see if I can zoom in so you can really get a gander. If you notice all your answer choices, the X values are all the same. They're all -6, -5, and a +4. Now, for the -6, if I plug the -6 into this first equation, I'm going to get this. I'm going to have a -6 plus 6. Then I'm going to have a -6 plus 5. Then a -6 minus 4. Now, here's the big thing. -6 plus 6, that gives me a 0. Now, it doesn't even matter what you do in the other ones, because anything multiplied by 0 is a 0. All right, so that means the answer for this, even if I plug in a -6, it's going to be a 0. So that means the f of x, in this case, my answer is going to be 0. So if I take this answer of 0 and plug it into that second equation, I'm going to get a -3. But this one says -9. This one says -3, this one says -3, this one says +3. So right away, D is gone and A is gone. So if I tried to do the same thing with the -5, this is what's going to happen. You have -5 plus 6, -5 plus 5, -5 minus 4. Doesn't matter what's happening with these two parentheses, because right here, -5 plus 5 gives me a 0. So anything multiplied by 0 is going to be 0. So that means that 0, I plug back in here, I'm going to get an answer of a -3. So right away, this gives me an answer of -2. This one's giving me a -3. And even if I just take a glance, plug the 4 in, if I plug the 4 in right here, this is going to turn into a 0. So my answers for all of them is going to be a -3. So my answer will be B. Okay. All right. Okay. So all you did was plugged in your X values, which if you notice, all of them had the same X values. If you plug it into the original up here, if I plugged the -6 for that first one, I would have gotten a 0. Anything times 0 is going to be 0. So I didn't have to do the plugging of these things. Once I got a 0 right here, boom, I was done. That's a 0. So that means I'm going to replace the 0 for the f of x because that's the answer for up here. And then 0 minus 3 gives me a -3. So that's how we were able to eliminate A and D. But if I did it again with the -5, all I have to do is replace this one with the -5. Because -5 plus 5, that gives me 0. Anything times 0 is 0. Boom, that's done. So I plug the 0 in for the f of x. 0 minus 3 gives me -3. That's your answer. Okay? Is what you're currently struggling with? Okay, I got you. All right. So we're going to do one more. And then we're just going to take a quick little pause. All right, so for this one, a landscaper uses a hose that puts 88x ounces of water in a bucket in 5y minutes. Which expression represents the number of ounces of water the hose puts in the bucket in ny minutes at this rate? Is it A, B, C, or D? Now I'm going to tell you, this is definitely not a GED question, but the process is something familiar, okay? Question like this, you will definitely see in the ACCUPLACER. You will definitely see in SAT, ACT, but we can do math, okay? We can do small steps, and I will show you step by step. Okay. Oh, no problem, Susie. When in doubt, C. Sometimes Roadrunner, sometimes. Okay. All right. So data link is saying it's D on your GED. Something similar, not too much with the Y's and the X's next to the number, but same process. Okay, same process. You're currently taking the math ACCUPLACER? Yep, I got you. The high school, crazy, right? Yep, I'm telling you. Yeah, it has changed since then. I know, right? I still got 5 apples. All right? Alexa, please, you're not bad at math. It's all because of how it was presented to you. Right? And then you were probably just like me, wanted to get a couple more examples, but everybody worried about going out to recess and no one wanted to be that kid. To say, can we just do one more math problem? No, no one wants to be that kid, ever. Right? So we kept it inside. And then all of a sudden, the curriculum started getting faster and faster and harder, and we have no idea what's going on. And we're just like, screw it, I just suck at math. It's just easy to say that. Okay? Trust me. The reason why I know this, because I was that kid. I was never born a math genius. Far from it. Okay? Far from it. All right. So we have some D's. We have some B's. So let me kind of show you what's going on. So at least we all know it's not the A and it's not C. All right. So taking a look, we're doing a comparison. We're comparing ounces with minutes. All right. So if we have 88 X ounces and then we have 5Y minutes. So I'm saying my ounces are going to be the numerator, my minutes is going to be the denominator. So anytime I'm doing a comparison, like, okay, this is what I got in 5 minutes, what can I get in 9 minutes? I'm going to set it up as a proportion. So we don't know the ounces because that's what we're looking for, right? This is our unknown. So I'm going to use a question mark because I don't want to use an X because we're already using X in this problem and it has nothing to do with the X, okay? But it's going to be over 9Y. So for other equations or other, proportions, I would see if there is a pattern going from here to here, like if I need to multiply or divide by a number to get from this point to this point. Well, there's no multiplying or dividing that's going to give me a nice round even number. So what I would do is I'm going to do what's called cross multiply. So when I cross multiply, if I have my 5y being multiplied by my unknown, it's going to be 5y question mark. If I want to cross multiply here with the 88 and the 9, so I know 8 times 9, that gives me my 72. So I have my 2 carry the 7. Then 8 times 9 gives me 72 plus the 7, that gives me 79. And since I'm multiplying, that's going to be x, y. Okay? So now I'm going to divide both sides by 5y. Because when I divide both sides by 5y, anything divided by itself is equal to 1. But I don't really need the 1 because I still have my unknown, my question mark. So now this is kind of looking like one of our answers. The only thing that's missing is here I got y divided by y. That equals 1. And we all know 1 times anything is itself. So what remains is our 792x over 5. So our answer is going to be D. Okay. Anytime you have what's called two ratios that is going to be equivalent, because they're saying, if I may, so it's the same situation. So it's the same hose, it's the same water filling in the same bucket. So they're just saying, all right, this is what's happening in 5 minutes. But how much ounces of water is going to be in that bucket at, like, say, 9 minutes? It's the same hose, it's the same bucket. So we need for these two ratios to be equivalent. That's why we're going to equal to each other. So when you have a ratio or a fraction equal to a ratio, that's what a fraction means, we always want to do what's called cross multiplication to find what our unknown is. You're so welcome, user. All right. Okay. You need to wake up more. Well, let's do this. Okay, so I want to this sparked a little bit of something in me, okay? Because I think a lot of people, if they knew what this meant, they will be able to solve this a lot better, okay? Or quicker. So what I want you to do, I want you to put the answer in the chat for me, okay? I want you to translate this into an algebraic expression. Okay, translate that, the product of 4 and a number, and put it in the comments, please. Okay, so we got Nate with the 4N, we got Best Curry Eater with the 4 Eater, not creator. You don't have a curry recipe? Come on, Best. We have 4X, we have Mina with 4Y, Roger with the 4X, good Miss Softwalker, 4N, good Potato Kitten, 4N, Drea with 4N, okay, Z with 4X, Princess, 4N, yep, Key Goddess with 4Y, Big G Money with 4N, Queen with 4X, Lewis with 4X, J with 4N, okay, we don't even have to put the equals, guys, because they're not even giving me the verbiage of equals. It's just an expression. There you go. 4X. Jacqueline, thank you for correcting with the 4X. Okay, Con with the 4X. Thanks for the follow. Creative Design with the 4X. Good. Excellent, guys. Excellent. So since the number is unknown, you can use anything to represent it. You can use any letter in the alphabet except for I and E. Okay, any letter in the alphabet, because I and E are actually numbers. There you go. If you didn't know, now you know. All right, so if anything, try this one. 8 less than 3 times a number, and put your answer in the chat. Oh, thanks, Creative. Appreciate you. Not to be egotistical, but I needed that. I needed that today. Thank you. It was a rough day today. Okay, so 3x minus 8, 3n minus 8, 3x minus 8, 3x minus 8, 3n minus 8, 3n minus 8, 3x minus 8, 3x minus 8, 8 minus 3x, 8 minus 3x, 8 minus 3x. Oh, we're switching up. Now we got 3n minus 8 with Ashley, 3n minus 8 with Potato, 8 minus 3n with Nate, Jacqueline with 3x minus 8, Con with 3x divided by 8. Okay. So there is a reason why I come on my lives. Not because, I need attention. Well, that too. But sometimes a lot of people, it's not because you can't do math, you don't know how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide. You don't know how to translate from words to expressions, okay? So I know it reads 8 less than 3 times a number, which a lot of you guys are right on the mist. Many of you guys either gave me like 3x, or it doesn't matter what you use for the number, minus 8, but some of you guys gave me 3 minus 3x, okay, or 3n, whatever the letter. Listen to what they're saying. So 8 less than. Less than is subtraction. If it said is less than, that's an inequality. So I love the fact that everyone did subtraction. Good job, okay? So now, 3 times a number, that's another section. So there's 2 things happening here. We have the 8 that's being less than, and we have the 3 times a number. Anytime you see less than or more than, the number that's in front is now coming to the back. So it's like this. If you have your 8, your minus, your 3 times that number, this is switching to the back. You're still doing your subtraction, but the 8 is being less than, not the 3n. The 8 is carrying the less than, the minus. Okay, so your answer is such. 3n minus 8. Okay, so we're not putting parentheses. Who's doing it? Someone else did it earlier before I'm on. Okay, so we're saying that 8 is going to be less than. We're not saying that 3n is less than. We're saying who is going to be dealing the subtracting. The less than, that's the 8. So the 8 is going to be less than. So that means the 8 is going to carry the subtraction. Okay, that's why you're switching it. Because the 3 times a number, that's not being subtracted. It's the 8 that's carrying the subtraction. Same thing happens with more than. And I know a lot of people usually don't change more than. More than is addition. So people are just like, well, addition, it doesn't matter. Either way, it's going to give you the same answer. Yeah, but with subtraction, it does. So you might as well carry over the theme. So if this said by chance like 8 more than 3 times a number, that means the 8 is the one that's carrying the plus sign. Okay, and then you have your 3n that's going to be in front. All right. Okay, we see it now. All right. The baddest, did you see it now? Okay, now the only thing that's being multiplied, guys, you're not putting parentheses around this. The only thing that is being multiplied is the 3 times a number. So that's just the 3n, no parentheses. Okay, all right. Okay, let's try one more and then we'll get back to our natural program. All right, So let's try this one. The sum of twice a number and 8. Okay. So right now we're not doing anything equal to 0. We're not solving just yet. Okay. Right now we're just trying to get the verbiage down. Okay. Hey, West Virginia, how are you? It's been a moment. So you're 2x plus 8. Okay, Alicia said 2x plus 8. Yes, sir. Saying 2n plus 8. Okay, Z is saying 2x plus 8. Okay, Angie, with the 2n plus 8. All right. Okay, Potato Kitten with 2n plus 8. Jacqueline, the 2x plus 8. Okay, Susie, good with 2x plus 8. It doesn't matter which letter. Yep, the variables doesn't matter. Okay, you can use n, you can use x. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay, Jones is saying 2x plus 8. Good. Yep. You can take it if we are solving, but we're not solving blazing. I appreciate that. Okay. So that's another thing. I'm glad you did that, because that's another thing that a lot of people lose time in your GED, your ASVAB, and your ACCUPLACER, because you're thinking you're solving and all they're doing is asking you to translate this. That's it. And then all of a sudden you look up and you look at your answer choices. You're like, oh, wait, I didn't have to do that. And you can't get that time back. Okay. Just like in life, everything is precious. And here is your matching answer. So the 2n plus 8. If you said 2x, that will work as well. Okay. If you said 2a, 2s, whatever. Okay. So we don't need any equals because there's no equals, Becca. Okay. There's no equals. You can just drop the equals y. I know. We're obsessed. We're obsessed with the equation of lines. Okay. So if you like these, I have tons of these. I made a book that has an, actually it's enclustered into, I'm making up words, into one of my books that I actually have, which is the Algebra at Your Pace. But then I have a lot of resource books. So of these, I have, I think a good 48 is usually looking like, it usually comes in a page and it looks something like this. There's like 4 problems on a page. So one side is going to be blank. The other sides are going to actually have the answers, and it does come with an answer key. So if you ever need any more additional practice with the word problems, you can do that. Okay. And if you want it, the link is actually in my bio, and I will be getting my, and it looks something like this. And I do have a digital copies, and then there are hard copies. So just in case you ever wanted to take advantage of them. All right. So let's get back to these last 2, if I can find it. Here it is. And I'm going to do one more. So after these 2, I'm going to do one more type of flashcard thing, because it seems like you guys like the flashcard stuff. How often do I come on live? Now it's going to get even harder. After today, the next time I might be able to come on might be Wednesday. Might. I'm emphasizing that. Because it all depends on my tutoring schedule. Because a lot of my kiddos are starting to come back. I don't know why I call them kiddos, because some of them are adults too. But everyone's starting to come back from the winter break. Yes. All right, so we have this lovely system here. In the given system of equations, h is a constant. If the system has no solution, what is the value of h? Is it A, -9, B, 0, C, 9, or D, 18? Okay, not sure? Okay. All right, Shauna's saying B. Okay, hey, test square. Okay, I see you. Okay, on for her class. Do you guys know each other? That would be hilarious. For her class? Not a problem. Yeah, I did see someone like going live by showing someone else's lives, which was very interesting to me. I don't even know if the guy actually knows that someone was doing that. That was like weird for me. All right. Okay, Johnny, I see you. All right, I got you in a second. User 34 is saying B, Z is saying B. Just thinking so. Okay. All right. Official London saying 18, which is D. All right. Got some comments. Look how comments you guys putting up there. Okay. You're thinking. All right. Pepsi is saying 18. Do we start by solving for X? You could, but there is a shorter way. And you're going to be like, what? This is so mind-blowing. ASCUPLACER, I'm taking it 3 times and failed. Okay. All right, and Wild Child is saying C. Okay, so let's take a gander. Okay, I do want to give you guys time to work out. So if some of you guys are like, wait, I need more time. I totally get it. And that's why I'm just trying to, okay. It's been a while since you've done this. Not a problem, Johnny. I know. You know, it's been, yes, same here. Can you plug in the numbers? You could. You could. But I'm going to show you something even easier. Okay? So, we have our 2 equations. And if I notice that this equation, it's basically, how should I say? It's basically solved for y, per se. But if I may, I can put this, and this is basically in slope-intercept form, a little rearranged, but basically slope-intercept form. So if I wanted to, I can take that first equation. So that 4x minus 9y equals 9y plus 5. If I wanted to, I could solve this for x. Just follow along. If I add 9y to both sides, okay, they're going to cancel out, giving me 4x equals 18y plus 5. Okay, so you see that I add the 9y's on both sides. Negative 9y and a positive 9y, they cancel each other out, giving me 0. But I don't need that 0 as a placeholder because I still have that 4x that can come down. Now I have my 9y plus 9y, that gives me 18y. And then the plus 5 comes on down. So now I'm going to go back to the actual problem. So what the problem states, that the system has no solution. So when you know about system of equations, when you have lines, because that's what you're graphing, straight lines, when you have lines that do not intersect, they're called parallel lines. So when the 2 lines have no solution meaning they're not crossing. So that means we have parallel lines. What do we know about parallel lines? They have the same slope. So when I look at this second equation, I notice that my slope, which is always the coefficient of your x, is 4. And then I kind of seen it up here, but when I solve this, hey, my slope, or the coefficient of x, is also 4. So that means we got 2 parallel lines. But then take a look. We want to see what the value of y is. If you notice, y is the coefficient the h is the coefficient of y. Take a look what we did down here. 18 is the coefficient of y. So what is the value of h? It is 18. Okay. Do I do geometry? Sometimes I do. Because I know I need to. You're screaming. All right. So, one thing I needed to know about system of equations. If the lines have no solution, that means they are parallel lines. And parallel lines, they all have the same slope. So for my GED people, this is a 4-point question as I put it this way. How do you know? They'll give you like 2 equations and they'll say, are the lines parallel or perpendicular? If they give you the same number or the same coefficient in front of the x, they are parallel. Okay? If they give you something that is called opposite reciprocals, like say if my slope was a 4, the opposite reciprocal will be negative because the opposite of positive is negative. And the reciprocal, anytime you see a whole number, it's always over 1. So when I do the reciprocal, I flip it. So that will be my 1/4. So if you see a whole number that's 4 and then the other slope is a negative 1/4, the lines are going to be called perpendicular. So that means your slopes of perpendicular lines. Okay. I know, it's crazy. There's an answer within one. You don't understand why it's 18? So when we looked at the coefficient of your y is h, and that's what we're looking for. We're trying to find the value of h. So we want to know what the coefficient of your y is. After we solved that top equation, which is down here, we added the 9y, and take a look. The coefficient of your y is 18. And the reason why I circled the 4x's, because the 4x's is representing this no solution. Because that means my slopes are exactly the same with the 2 equations. And they want to know what h is. So the h is your coefficient of the y. Okay. Chris, what do you mean by do I have slope tables? What do you mean? Okay. Yeah, this is not linear algebra, right? Okay. Posted on different problems. What do you mean? Like Softwalker, Miss Softwalker. What do you mean posted on different problems? Okay. You're welcome, Julie. I know. This is what SAT does. They take what you know and they put a twist to it. They always have you think outside the box. But you're like, dude, I never knew I was in a box. Trust me, people, we're all in a box, okay? So you're just going to have to learn to look out on there. Yep, Sean and I will be showing that. All right, thank you. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so one more, and then we're going to do a couple more flashcard things, and then we're going to skedaddle. Yep, I am on YouTube. I'm going to show you that in a mo. Okay, where is the 2? What do you mean the 2? Oh, the 2's still there. We didn't use it. We don't need to use it. When they're talking about slopes, you just focus on the slopes. Okay. All right. All right. So 13 is p% of 25. What is the value of p? Okay, so now no answer choices, so we're going to have to try to figure it out. 13 is p% of 25. What is the value of p? Okay, Michael's telling me 52%. Okay. Kill Bill, saying 5. Okay. Alyssa is saying 52. Okay, you said 52 before Mike. Okay, all right. All right, Dwayne, gotcha. Okay, 52, but it's a guess. All right, I got that. 52%, 5.2. Okay, so you got 52%. Okay, Island Boy is saying 0.52. Okay. Do you do ASVAB questions too? Yep, and this is part of the ASVAB as well. A lot of these questions on there. The only thing that's different between a lot of the GED and the ASVAB questions, and I've been looking at a lot of workbooks, it's just basically the terminology. Just instead of saying Susie went to the store, you're saying a private had to go on an errand for the sergeant, blah, blah, blah. They're just basically putting it more into military terms. But the math is still mathing, guys. Math language is known all around the world. Okay. All right. Yep. So especially this percentage. So here we go. Tell you some more questions. So 13 is, okay, P% of 25. So let me break it down. You got your 13 is equivalent to equals your P% of means multiplication 25. So now I want to get my P% by itself. So this is multiplication. The inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide 25 on both sides. So now we have our P%. So then you have to do your 13 divided by 25. So we can probably use a calculator, but remember, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, and GED, you can't use a calculator. TEAS test, you can, okay? SAT, ACT, you can. But all these other ones, you're going to do it by hand. So let's go with the flow. So we have our 13 and we have our 25. So now I'm putting my decimal point because there are no groups of 25 that can go into 13. It's too small. So I have my 0, line up my decimal point. Now I have a 0. So now we're saying, okay, how many groups of 25 can go into 130? Well, that will be 5. So 5 times 5 gives me 25, carry the 2. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 2 is 12. So now when I subtract, I'm going to borrow from this 3 to make it a 2. Now that 0 is now a 10. So now 10 minus 5 gives me 5. Add another 0, bring that bad boy down. So how many groups of 25s can go into 50? Well, that would be exactly 2. So now we don't have any remainders, which is nice. But that's what 0.52 is. But that's as a true decimal. If we want this as a percent, we need to multiply this bad boy by 100. That's how we get rid of from a decimal to a percent. Multiply it by 100, that will put you exactly at 52. That's going to be what P equals. Okay, so they just want to know what the value of P is. Okay, all right, there we go. Okay, all right, so one last card, simplify. Thank you so much for the gifts. I have to be honest with you, I have no idea what the gift goal is. because I didn't change it from last time. But simplified. Tell me what my answer is. It made so much sense. Awesome. Okay. So I got a couple 55s. I got Danny with a 65. I got Hannah with a 55. Dwayne with an 855. Hold on. I think it got a little crazy with that. We got 55. Tyrone 55. Squeezing machine. Got multiply by 100 as a rule of thumb. Yeah, when you're going with the percent, Nate. So they didn't want the decimal. They actually wanted the percentage. Okay, so Michael with the 55, Kill Bill with the 55, JT with the 55, Lupe 55, Vicky 55, 55, 55, 55, 55, 52. It's 52. For the last one was 52. For this one, we're getting 55, 55, 55, 55. Just use parentheses, please. And then there's no guesswork. That's fine. Okay. But see, here's my thing. Sometimes you don't have parentheses, my dear. All right. Sometimes they show it with parentheses. Sometimes they show it without. So that's why when I do these cards, I like to put some with parentheses, exhibit like this one, okay, and some without. So at least when you're going into that testing situation, you can feel more confident because, all right, I've seen this before. So this kind of goes back to our please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which I've been seeing, I don't know, because of my algorithm, a lot of these online lately. Now, we don't have any parentheses. Boom, that's done. We have an exponent. So our exponent is that 3 squared. 3 squared does not mean 6. Stop it. Okay? This is saying that I'm multiplying this base of 3 to itself 2 times. So it's 3 times 3, which gives us 9. So we have our 100 minus 5 times our 9. So now we took care of the exponent. So now we have multiplying or dividing from left to right. That's what screws a lot of you guys up, all right? So from left to right, right here, I got subtraction. We're going to keep going. Here's multiplication. I need to tackle that next, okay? You're not doing 100 minus 5. Oh, that's 95, and then I'm going to multiply the 95 by 9. No, you'll get an answer, and that answer will be one of the answer choices, but it will be incorrect, okay? So we have 100 minus that 45. So now, adding or subtracting from left to right. We only got one spot, which gives us our 55. Okay. All right. How are we feeling? Okay. How are we feeling? Are we feeling at least we feel pretty good? Or you're just like, I will never get this. Which you will. Because if I can sit up here teaching it, and I used to suck math, terrible. Fractions, hell no. Word problems, you must be out your damn mind. Okay? So this is where you can go to find all my replays. Okay? All my replays, I've got here. I can't say the word because TikTok doesn't like it. You can sign up here. Subscribe. Go ahead. It's fun. And there is a playlist that says TikTok Live. So all of my lives since February 2nd. I've been doing this since February 2nd. I know, and you just found me. How fun is that? And if anything, all of that, I have some of the things that, like the problems that we were doing today. So a lot of these problems that I find online, I will go through some of them. Sometimes I go through ASVAB stuff, TEAS test stuff, GED stuff that I used to teach GED back in the day. That's why I always say if you skip slope, equation of line, system of equations, volume, you're not going to pass the test. You have to at least get one of those from each category in order to pass. At least get like a good 3 of those 4-point questions down. Anything else, it doesn't matter if you do so well. That's how they do it algebraically, because they want to make sure you get it, and especially the graphing one. Okay, so if you're my GED people, that's what you need to do. ASVAB people, you're going to need to know you're adding, subtracting your decimals, your fractions, your percents, going back and forth with those. Knowing how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions with alike denominators or unlike denominators. Also, your distance, rate, and time formulas. You definitely need to know those. So why don't I just stop faking the funk for a second and just show you. Okay. Okay, you're going to need to know how to convert those. You're probably like, what? If you're doing your percent increase and percent decrease, you're going to need to know that formula off the top of your head. You're going to need your... Here it is. You're going to need to know your distance, rate, and time. Rate is your speed and time. So you need to know those formulas. It will be nice for you to know, and this goes for GED, ASVAB, ACCUPLACER, all of these, everything that I'm saying to you right now. Okay, you need to know this formula, which is your distance formula. So how do I get from one point to another? If you want to know the midpoint formula, need to know that. Definitely should understand circumference of a circle. Definitely need to get your area of a triangle. Definitely need to have this in your memory for the area of a rectangle. Don't even forget about the area of a circle. Okay, so you notice that this is quite a bit, a good handful, because knowing your areas, especially like the areas of a circle, then you'll be able to get the volume. I don't know where it went. I just had it 5 seconds ago. 1 second. Un moment. Here it is. Okay, if you want to get the volume of the cylinder, notice, let me slide this down a little bit. Notice the area of the circle is a part of the volume, okay? Area of the circle was your pi r squared. That's part of the volume of a cylinder. See it? Pi r squared. So the volume of a cylinder is your area of the base, which is a circle, times the height. That's how that comes about. So I decided, you know what? I keep telling my students to make flashcards, so I'm like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. I'm going to create flashcards. So this is what I did. And if you're into this, what's the formula for this? You guys tell me. What is the formula for this? IPRT. What do we got? Okay. What is that? IPRT. Yes, was. Okay. Yes. It is simple interest. Okay. Where the I is your interest, the P is your principal times your rate. Remember that has to change that rate to a decimal. And your time is always your time in years. So if they say 6 months, that means it's half a year. So that'll be your 0.5. Okay. So I have all of these. You can use them for homeschooling. You can use them for yourself. You can do all of these fun things like SOHCAHTOA. What is SOHCAHTOA? Just kind of like do like a little reflection. Oops. Okay. Yep, so we got the simple interest. Now the compound interest, that is going to give you the fraction, okay? Yep, you can buy these from me. I do have a link. I do not have a TikTok shop. I used to, but I have to develop these a little bit more. I want to see how much interest is going to be before I can jump back into the whole TikTok shops. But if you go to my profile, there's a link that will take you to my my page, and then you will see all the resources for the algebra at your pace. Yes, trigonometry. Okay, so with that SOHCAHTOA, remember, it should be the other way around. Put it like differently. Okay, SOHCAHTOA, that's trigonometry. That's your sine, cosine, and tangent. Okay, so it's your opposite over hypotenuse, your adjacent over hypotenuse, and your opposite over adjacent. And then last but not least, everyone knows this. Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. I was like, what's taking everybody so long? All right. Yes, your PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally from left to right. Okay. So there are a lot of formulas. Okay. What I generally do is when I print them out, like I'll show you, I print these out. Like I said, there's usually 4 to a page. Okay. And then on the next page, when it's blank, I'll give you the answers. But I also give you an answer key, and I give you an extra blank one just in case you want to throw something in there. And it's like a whole stack. I didn't even do all of them. And there's the book in itself. For that is, 72 pages? Okay, so if we look at, I think it's 72. Yeah, 72 pages. So if we take half of that, because there's always going to be a blank page because there's nothing on the back, we're looking at 36 pages, right? So 36 times 4, that will give you 144 problems. 144 of these lovely cards, okay? So you can have them all ready and willing, so you can go with it, all right? So again, if you go to the link in my bio, it's all linked up ready for you. If you're needing of a tutor, I do tutoring sessions for $77 for an hour, but I understand. Some people are like, I can't afford that. So that's why I developed this Algebra at Your Pace. Okay, it is a working notebook with a lot of this stuff looks familiar, right? This is like a working notebook, and it gives you a lot of resources in the back. It also gives you practice problems. What you do is you scan the QR code, and it will take you directly to me instructing the problem, how to do square roots for this particular one. I give you how to read it, some helpful hints. Then you're taking your notes in the book. No more trying to find paper or get a notebook and then all of a sudden you lose pages. And then a section where there is a practice, you got a place to put your practice. And then after you're done, there's some extra practice problems. Some of them, we give it to you like say GED and ASVAB related, okay? And it's all relatable. And of course, the answers to it is in the very back. So like you do it on one side, on the backhand side is the answer. So no more going to page 468 just to see if you got the answer right. And then at the end of every volume, you will get a quiz. Okay, so it takes you with those test questions. Now, I'm also developing my mock test, which should be up and available, I want to say, by next week. So it's kind of like I give you all the workbooks. So if you're like, oh, Audrey, that sounds pretty cool, but I don't need the whole book. That's the thing that made me do my workbooks like this. Because there's so many of us, let me get out all this outside, that you probably have taken the test before and you just need certain sections. Well then, grab whatever volume you need. Okay, so right now I got volumes 1 through 6 available. So we have the integers, the decimals, the exponents. We have the fractions, like is it a function, is it not a function, how can you tell in order of operations? We have the solving equations, so if you think, just like I used to, one-step, two-step, multi-step equations. If you have trouble with maybe equations like this, where you have the variable on both sides of the equal sign, some of them are going to be fractions, some of them are going to be whole numbers. But the fact that you have a variable on both sides of the equal sign, and that was something that always tripped you up, that's going to be into this section. Sorry, gotta do this puzzle piece thing. Okay. And then we have the linear equation. This should be the top seller because everybody, for some weird reason, slope. It gets to everybody. Like, how come I just can't understand this thing called slope? So now you got someone that's going to break it down to you step by step, okay? With practice problems, with examples, not only how to solve it, but how to graph it, how to pull from it from a table, okay? And then last but not least, the inequalities, system of equations, system of inequalities, absolute values. This is also a game changer as well. All right. So you can get the copies on the big A. Everyone knows the A, the brown box with the smiley face. Or you can order it through me. But I also have digital copies of this because I know financially it might be a little bit easier for you right now. And then once you order the copy, it's yours. It's yours, you know, no like, oh, you only could have it for a year or all this other stuff. You know, you just go ahead and pay and just go ahead. So for the digital copies is $12.99. For the physical books is $24.99 for the actual books. Then I have, oh, just broken now. Then I have my resource pages. A lot of them are $17.99, and the resource books with all the flashcards, you can get them on sale on the A as well. So the link is in my bio, so you're more than welcome to do that. The first volume, I actually gave you guys a bonus. So I gave you the X bonus. Whoa, you can't see that. Okay, so I gave you the X bonus flashcards. So get used to some flashcards. So if you want, you can take some copies of it. These are all the rules that's dealing with exponents. I think somebody was asking about the 0 exponent rule. It's right here. Okay, it's done this way because obviously the book is this way, but you know you can turn it around. Okay, you can make copies of it, and if you want, the way that these flashcards go, I have an example here. So here's an example of one of the flashcards. Okay, knowing what the rule is. For this one, you can fold it, and then what happens is the question's going to be on the right-hand side, but the answer will be on the left-hand side. Okay, so you can see, all right, 3 to the third power raised to the second power. When you have a power being raised to a power, you multiply them. So it's going to be 3 times 2, which gives me 6. And then 3 to the 6th power gives me 729. Okay, so these are basically what these are here. Okay, so this side's going to be the question. This side is going to be the answer. All right. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you can do digital, you can do it, and I'm going to tell you, it is a little cheaper than having me as a tutor one-to-one. I'm expensive, but I'm worth every freaking penny. I've had so far up to date, 7 people pass their GED. 10 people raised their score, and 2 of the ones that raised their score for the ASVAB passed at 31. They actually got 52 and 57. They came to me with a 2 and a 4. I don't know if it's me or if it's just their determination and drive. So I put my heart and my soul into these books. I don't want to give you garbage. And if you ever have questions, you can easily, reach out to me. If you do buy it digital, Make sure you read the thank you page. The thank you page will actually give you the link so you can open everything up and get ready, get started. Okay, so please. Going to order my book. Awesome. So how can you buy it? You can buy this right now. You can buy this through the link in my bio. So if you just click on my face, go to my profile, and the first link that you see, you can just click on that and it'll take you straight to the webpage. Okay. All right. Okay. You're more familiar with that? Yep. BODS. I got you. See? I got a lot of friends that are in Canada. All right. Not a problem. Okay. So if you have any questions before you do any kind of purchasing, I get it. Please send me a message. I'd rather you send me a message and ask, hey, Audrey, I'm about to start here. This is what I've done. I've taken this test 3 times already. This is the stuff that they gave me. And I'll take a look at it and say, all right, this is going to be a great place for you to start. So if you ever, I don't want you to buy something just to buy. I love that you want to give the support. That's awesome. But I really want you to use it, okay? I want you to use this book. I want you to get the resources from this book and use it to your advantage so you can get whatever you need. If you suck at multiplications, I also got you here. I have flashcards with multiplying and dividing, but I also made a factor chart to help you with your factoring, okay? What's in yellow is your prime numbers. What's in blue is your perfect square roots or perfect squares, okay? So now, most people, if they do factor sheets, they stop at 100. Mine goes all the way to 200. Because when you're looking at Algebra 1, Algebra 2, you're dealing with larger numbers. So your resources should reflect who you are, not just an elementary school kid that's not going to use this. Okay? All right. A bit better. The slope one? Yes. Yes. Oh, good. All right. Well, I got to skedaddle because I have to get myself ready for tutoring. Again, if you need a tutor, you can scan that QR code. Again, that will take you to my website. But if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. If you're just like, oh, do you tutor anybody younger? The youngest I do is 7th grade on up. Anyone younger, just ask me because I do have friends that tutor as well. Okay? I really want to support as much as I can while I'm still on this face of this crazy earth. All right. So, again, if you want, again, I'm giving a lot of stuff away. Here we go. We got the YouTube. We got the resources, where you want for the resources, the tutoring, the books. You can just go to my website and it will connect you. Just click on the link and it will connect you to all the web pages. I didn't want to jam up too much, but if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. All right. All right, everyone, have a lovely day. And thank you so much for sticking around. And thank you for following. Thank you for liking. I greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. If it gets too crazy, it's probably going to be like around 3 o'clock. Worst case scenario, I will see you on Friday at 3 o'clock. Okay. So if I don't see you on Wednesday, I will definitely see you on Friday. All right. Have a great day. And thank you so much. Love you all.